Breaking news. The Miami Dolphins are making some moves that are making a lot of their fans happy. Other than that, we still don't know what's coming up before the start of the season, but Chris Grier may be planning something significant for this new year. We have some important updates, and I'll tell you all about them. But before we go any further, make sure you've already hit that like button, but only do so if you're a true Miami Dolphins fan. It's great to see true fans here. Some of you were at the team's first game. Maximum respect. If possible, comment like this: "Go Dolphins! My heart bleeds green and orange." Now let's talk about something that's getting people talking. The Dolphins quietly restructured Zach Wilson's contract, a move that may seem small on the surface, but freed up critical cap space. Originally pegged for a $6 million cap hit in 2025, Wilson will now only count $2.2 million against the cap that year, with the remainder deferred to 2026. That created enough room to bring the Dolphins' current cap to around $21 million, and that kind of flexibility is rarely created without a big-picture approach. So what exactly is Grier planning? There's growing buzz that the return of Calais Campbell could be the next big domino to fall. Last season, at age 36, Campbell didn't just play all 17 games, he produced at a high level, especially considering the Dolphins' struggles on the defensive line. With 5 sacks on a unit that ranked 27th in that category, he was one of Miami's most consistent and disruptive forces in both the running game and as a pass rusher. Beyond the stat sheet, Campbell brought leadership and presence to a locker room that desperately needed it. Bringing him back may not cost much, possibly around $6 million a year. But the value far exceeds the price tag. The Dolphins' defensive line is thin. Zach Sealer and Benito Jones are currently the only returning players on standard contracts at the position. While Sealer remains a stud and Jones offers reliability at nose tackle, there's a glaring need for a starting caliber lineman who can do it all. Campbell fits that mold perfectly. Not only could he start opposite Sladonian Sealer, but he'd also serve as an excellent mentor for any defensive lineman Miami might draft in the top 100. Campbell's return is more than a smart move. It could be the anchor the defensive line needs. But what if Campbell decides to hang it up? At 37, retirement is a real consideration. He flirted with the idea last year before ultimately choosing Miami, and it's clear he enjoyed the environment, coaching staff, and playing alongside Sealer. The sense is that if Campbell doesn't retire, he'll return to Miami. It's just a matter of which way he leans, and whether the Dolphins are willing to lock him in before someone else makes a late push. Campbell isn't the only focus. The Dolphins are also eyeing the cornerback position, particularly the CB2 spot. With Kendall Fuller gone and Jalen Ramsey now the lone veteran presence, the depth is shaky at best. Storm Duck, Cam Smith, Ethan Bonner, and Artie Burns just don't inspire confidence. Kader Kohou is locked in at nickel, but Miami needs a reliable boundary corner to line up opposite Ramsey. That's where the remaining free agents come into play. Asante Samuel Jr. stands out as a top target. At just 24 years old, he's played in 50 games and brings man-to-man coverage skills Miami needs. His numbers, 63.7% completion rate allowed and a 97.7 passer rating when targeted, are solid, especially considering his youth. Injuries have hampered his availability, but if he stays healthy, he's an ideal, cost-effective CB2 option. Adding him could inject much-needed youth and upside into the secondary. Stefon Gilmore is another intriguing option. Though older at 34, he's still performing at a high level. Last season, he allowed just a 54.9% completion rate and an 83.3 quarterback rating when targeted. A pairing of Gilmore and Ramsey would bring immediate experience and polish, though the Dolphins may hold off on signing Gilmore until after the NFL draft. They could potentially land a corner like Will Johnson or Jalen Braxton early in the draft, and only revisit Gilmore if that plan doesn't materialize. The financial picture is just as compelling. With $21 million in cap space, Miami has the room to sign 1 or 2 key veterans while preserving $10 to $12 million for the draft class. Both Samuel and Gilmore could be had for cap hits in the $6 to $9 million range. Structuring deals smartly could leave enough room to bolster multiple positions without compromising draft plans.
Beyond free agents, don't count out a trade. The Dolphins now have the flexibility to explore deals for bigger contracts. Greg Newsome is a name to watch. The former first-round pick is on his 5th-year option with a $13.3 million cap hit, and Cleveland might be open to moving him. Despite a dip in 2024, Newsome has been a solid CB2 throughout his career. He could be a perfect plug-and-play solution, and a long-term piece if Miami chooses to extend him. Depending on how much of his salary Cleveland is willing to eat, Miami could acquire him for as little as a fifth-round pick, or a bit more if they want to split the cap hit. Other trade targets include Jair Alexander, Arik Armstead, and even tight end Michael Mayer. Each comes with varying price tags and injury histories, but they all represent areas where Miami could upgrade immediately if the right deal materializes. So what's the plan, Dolphins fans? With cap space available and holes still unaddressed, it's clear Chris Grier is preparing to strike again. Whether it's Campbell, a new CB2, or a surprise trade, the next few weeks could reshape this roster in a big way. But we want to hear from you. Should Miami prioritize bringing back Calais Campbell, target a veteran corner like Asante Samuel Jr. or Stefon Gilmore, or swing big in a trade for someone like Greg Newsome? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us who you want to see in aqua and orange next, and let us know what you'd do if you were in Grier's seat. And here's the part that makes this all the more exciting. The flexibility Miami now has doesn't just allow for one move. It opens the door to a strategic sequence. Think about it. With $21 million in cap space, Grier isn't locked into a one-shot decision. He could bring back Calais Campbell on a one-year deal around $6 million, still have room to add a corner like Asante Samuel Jr. or Stefon Gilmore, and comfortably afford to sign the entire draft class without breaking a sweat. It's calculated, it's deliberate, and it screams that Miami is in win-now mode. But here's where things get tricky. If Campbell retires, which remains a real possibility, then the pressure to fill that leadership void on the defensive line becomes even greater. It's not just about talent. It's about presence, consistency, and being that guy in the locker room who sets the tone. And as good as Sealer and Jones are, they're not that guy in the same way Campbell is. That's why this isn't just a football decision. It's a culture decision. And Grier knows it. Then there's the draft. The Dolphins hold a pick in the first round, and their choice there could dictate what happens next in free agency. If they go corner early, say someone like Will Johnson or Terrion Arnold falls to them, that could fill the CB2 void right away and allow them to shift their attention back to Campbell or a potential trade. But if they decide to go trenches, bolstering either the offensive or defensive line, then cornerback jumps to the top of the needs list again. That's where someone like Gilmore could come into play post-draft. Grier could wait it out, see how the board falls, and then pounce on a veteran that's still sitting on the market waiting for the right opportunity. And let's not forget about the trade market, because that's the wild card here. The buzz around Greg Newsome is real. Young, experienced, and on the final year of his rookie deal, Newsome has all the tools to be a long-term solution at CB2. He had a down year in 2024, but so did a lot of players in Cleveland's defense, and he's still just 24. But there's another layer to this. Newsome isn't just a rental. If he shows out early in the season, Miami could extend him and lock down that CB2 spot for years. That means no need to draft a corner high next year, no scrambling in free agency, and you'd have a young core of Ramsey, Newsome, and Koa anchoring your secondary. That's a pretty attractive setup for a team looking to make a Super Bowl run.